to Coffee Chat with Joe Misiak. How are you doing today? Today I feel like it just feels a little weird. Today just feels a little off. Have you ever had one of those days? And then I got thinking as I'm getting ready for here, it's Thursday, but it actually is a Friday today in our minds, right? It's the last day of work because of the holidays. I actually have 4 days home with my daughter because she's 4 days off in a row. So it's one of those, is it my mindset or is it just, it's one of those things. Anyways, today I want to share some really, I feel, life-changing things. Stuff that I've had happen in my life and go, wow, I have that much power to change things. I also want to just share a couple things about parenting books, or if you have trouble in different areas that you always want to find the answers. I'd like to share a little bit of my aha moments with those as well today. So grab your coffee or your tea and come chat with me. So earlier this week, I posted a picture that I wrote that said, the only step you need to take is to make the decision the decision that you want to change. Sorry, my throat's a little, I feel like I just rolled out of bed like an hour ago, which is kind of true. The only step you need to take is to make the decision that you want to change. That's the only decision. Now, people might be like, well, that's not. I am here to tell you today that I have done this a few times in my life now, and I just want to share the process with you because I literally changed things around in my life in one day, and in another one I changed it in, it was a couple days, but only because we waited until the weekend to act on the decision to make the change. So it is, and like I said afterwards, it's amazing what happens after you take this step. It really is. So a few years, or actually it was just under a year ago, my daughter was still not toilet trained. And I wasn't super stressed out about the situation, but my grandma was putting pressure on me and things like that. And I was like, okay. So when I finally made the decision that I wanted to see change and that we weren't going to do it other ways, and this is where parenting books come in a minute, the moment I made that decision, just the decision to change, ideas came to me. And I literally went within. We came up with a solution, my daughter and I, and she toilet trained that day. From that day on, now it doesn't say that she didn't have mistakes, and she still has, here and there. She's only 4. But that day was the day that she turned around. It was a week before Mother's Day. And that on Mother's Day, we do a Mother's Day road trip. And we were a little concerned. It's like, do we put a diaper back or pull it back on? And it was funny because we didn't, and she had no accidents. We just brought the potty in the toilet. A week after just doing this, from going from nothing, from like pulling our hair out to like, grr, and listening to all these parenting books, we finally went within. We finally just decided, her and I made the decision to change, but I checked in with her. I did stuff that would resonate with her. And it was a really powerful thing. Now I just like try to kind of chalk that up to like, okay, I did that once, but then I did it again. So anybody that's been following me, has been in my world, has known that for almost 2 years now, I did not sleep. I was so sleep deprived. So like just my son was waking up 2 to 3 times a night. And I made, I didn't make it, I did make a decision, but my husband and I got to the point where we couldn't do it anymore. We were just so, I tried my best to work with my naturopath on how to keep my body like from falling apart. and, meditating and all this stuff. But when you don't sleep, your mind does funny things. And I was like, that's it. I can't live like this anymore. I couldn't give the best of myself when I'm not the best of myself. So I told my husband, like, we can't do this anymore. We need to change something. We need to sleep again. And I think this might have been a Wednesday, maybe. Anyways, the Saturday, Anastasia was planning, my daughter, we had it planned that she was going to go visit her aunt, so my sister. And we're like, this is a perfect time to make something happen. So this way, when we tried different things to help my son at night, we wouldn't wake up our daughter as well. It would just be the three of us having lack of sleep. So we're like, okay. So Wednesday, and then by Saturday, like we executed our change of plans. And it was rocky, yes, for like a day or two, but he's sleeping. He slept through the night tonight. He sleeps through the night most of the night. And it was messy for like a day or two. But after a week, we were like, this is it. Like we made it happen. So I was like, wow, it's powerful once you make the decision to change, that you're not going to live the way that you've been living, or that you just need a change. That is the most powerful thing you can do. Be like, this is what's going to happen. Like, obviously, you can't play everything out. We didn't know what was going to happen when we changed our sleeping routine so Jaden could sleep through the night. We didn't know what was going to happen, but we knew that we weren't going back to the old way of sleeping. And it's that powerful. And it's just so powerful. And I figured, wow, if I can do it in this area and I can do it in this area, that means I can do it in any area. When you change, when you make that decision to change, and I don't mean half-ass kind of way. I mean like, okay, this is it. Like, I am doing this. Not like, oh, maybe I should change. I mean, when you're 110% ready to change, and you declare it, that is when the universe has your back and can start sending you your thoughts. And when you really do a check-in with yourself, how incredible is that you have all the power? You just need to make the decision. So that comes to parenting books. Now, I have no problem with parenting books. In fact, I'm going to be writing one, but it's not really a parenting book. It's actually, anyways, we're not going to get into too much of that today. However, there's definitely a place for them. But what happens when those parenting books, you read like a million of them, one after the other, and they're not helping you find the solution you need? What do you do then? And sorry, I'm just trying to find my, okay. Yeah. So what happens when they don't work? Like I said, I have nothing wrong with them. I actually find that they have a place. They tell you things you might not know. They give you advice. But in the end, you need to go within and check with which one's yours. Because have you ever read a parenting book that has one way and contradicts another way? I'm actually reading a book in my field right now. And I'm like, well, this is lovely, but I wanted to actually go a layer lower. Like, if you don't do something first, the things that they suggest in this book don't actually benefit you if you're not in the right place of mind and just at the right place in your life. So every book has knowledge in it. It's what we do with the knowledge. So it's about slowing down, taking a breath. Breathing is really important. slowing down and listening. Today I would like to tell you that you have all the answers within you. I'm here for support. We're here for support as a group, but personally as a mom, a coach, a mentor, I am here for support. We all have the power within us to make things happen, to parent our children, to make things just, to live the life that we want to live. We have that within us. The busyness of our life can kind of hold us back. Why didn't I try to sleep earlier? Well, many reasons. I got to a point where I was so sleep deprived that I just was done looking for the answer. I was just hoping that something would just happen. And then when I got to that break point, it's like, well, nothing's happening. We got to make those things happen. And like, it was a really rough start, or rocky, 2 years. It's really funny though, because I've heard people that don't sleep for, their kids don't sleep for even 3 years or longer. And we all have a certain break point. Some of us can go years and years doing the same thing until we finally are like, wow, I had enough. Or maybe it's just a month or two. Try not to reach your break point. Sorry, guys. Try not to reach your break point. It's not fun being there, and it's a lot harder to come back from. So today, again, I really encourage you to look within. You have the power. Maybe this weekend, if you have a long weekend, it can be tricky though, because I'm like, I normally have, another day to do things around the house when my son's napping, and then Monday too, but I don't. My daughter's home and she doesn't nap. So I understand, coming from a mom's perspective, that this weekend might be a little different, crazy, maybe a little even crazy or adventurous, because you're not used to having, children home at a certain time. Still try to find time for you to really look within. Sunday is going to be the first day of April. That's really exciting. Spring is here, and the weather here in Canada is going to start changing, hopefully well, actually it has already, where it looks like spring and feels like spring and smells like spring. But I really encourage you to just take even 5 minutes. Go to the bathroom. I don't know, we have this thing now where we don't interrupt people in the bathroom anymore. And it's really refreshing. I always, you see people where moms are like, I never get a moment's peace, not even in the bathroom. My kids respect the bathroom. So if you don't even have to go to the bathroom, go there and have your 5 minutes of just being you and focusing on within. I'm actually going to take this information here and do that for me when I go to family outings this weekend, where, well, luckily I only have one, where we can get so caught up in the doing or going, and we forget to breathe and be who we are. I personally, I'm going to be completely honest with you, I still have a hard time going to my family sometimes and actually being who I really am. I kind of revert back to the person I was when I grew up, when I was growing up, and then I'm not true to who I really am, and I actually feel really exhausted. And then, you find a drink or two or three, and that is just something that I'm really going to be mindful of this weekend. So I would love, take some time for you, and if you can, add this little bonus trick in. Be mindful of something that you tend to do that you don't like to do. Not hate it, just be mindful of it, and become more aware of what happens. So maybe if you get really busy over this holiday, you take on maybe, I just saw Robin. Anyway, sorry. We tend to get busy, take on maybe too much, not saying yes or say no to things, and then say yes to others. And that's the only reason I'm not busy this weekend, is I say no to things. And that's how it is. And then I say yes to the things that light me up. So be mindful of what's going on in your world this weekend as you may run from one dinner to another. That used to be me. It was a 4-day or 3-day weekend, and most of the weekend was taken up. Actually, all 3 days would be taken up with family functions. That's not much of a weekend, in my opinion. Check in, be mindful, and breathe. I love you guys. And I have one little special thing. I actually came across these cards and I decided that this could be something fun that we could do at the end of Coffee Chat. So it is Life Loves You cards. I figured this was suiting for the Moms Club, Self Love Club for Moms. So I am going to just pull a card and see what we'd like to hear today and for the week. So just give me 1 second. I'm just going to have a sip of tea. Okay. So I'm just going to be mindful and just think, it's like, what does this group need to hear today? What do you guys need to hear today? I love life and life loves me. Very suiting for today, actually. When you feel envy or lack, say to yourself, I love life, I love, and life loves me. Be in love with your life. Let life bless you today. Just let life bless you today. I hope you have a beautiful day, a beautiful weekend. Happy Easter. Stay sane over the holiday weekend, and just sending you so much love and light. And I just hope you have a magical weekend with your family, friends, and yourself. Bye for now.